Hi there, welcome to I Alone. No, this one, I have two channels. My other channel is called I Alone Fly Tarot. But this one is Tarotland Soap Opera, and on this channel, we always do these two rows. The top row I refer to as High Vibe Aries energy, the bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy, because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And our high vibe nature might want us to take some action in our life, having hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in our dreams and in love. But the shadow nature can represent our fears and our insecurities, things like that. But it can also just represent our comfort zone. And, if we do life a little differently, we wouldn't be doing things the way we've been doing it. And that can be a little, might affect who we hang out with and how we spend our time. And then we have other people in our life that we probably spend time with doing some of those things. And maybe some of those people wouldn't like that we don't want to do those things anymore. So anyway, that's one of the ways we're going to look at it. Also, the top row can represent the people in our life who are loving and encouraging and supportive, aren't trying to manipulate us, aren't trying to control us, want us to grow to our full potential. And the bottom row can represent some of the people in our life who maybe don't want us to grow and heal and mature ourselves because maybe they don't. And then we maybe wouldn't hang out with them anymore. So, when we work through some of our things that manipulate us, then which affects the decisions that we make in our life and how we view life and how we view ourselves, what we think is just and fair, it's going to affect probably some of the people that we choose to invest time, energy, and effort into. So, the reason for the top rose reading is the Nine of Swords card, which is Gemini energy, which talks about our free will. We all tap into Gemini energy. Gemini has to do with what is ultimately our truth. Do we have more hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in love, or do we not? And some high vibe people decided they're going to focus on truth and love because something could have been going on in their life that stressed them out, maybe, or maybe thought was kind of superficial and shallow. Because the reason for the bottom rose reading is the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups walks away from the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is Scorpio energy, which everybody taps into, but in a shadowy way, it can be more where people maybe tried to confuse you about the truth of who they were, whether you took a job or got in a friendship, and people created an illusion that were these just, fair, loving, stable people, and you found out they weren't, or something. Let's go look at the bottom row and find out what it was. We start out with two cards not showing themselves. So that can be that some of the people that we got into friendships or relationships with maybe didn't want us to know that they reject harnessing this energy in a high vibe way. And because of that, some other high vibe people in their life could have left their life, and that they kind of harness it in a shadowy way. And that's the reason why some of those relationships ended, is what the World card can talk about. So what are those two cards? The Hangman and the Star. So the Hangman can talk about that people have a hard time kind of looking at life from any other perspective. They have a way of viewing life, and they could have a hard time just looking at it any differently. Then the next card is the Star card, and that again, are you willing to look at life from a higher perspective? Or are you so caught up, maybe stuck about believing in yourself, believing in your dreams? Because that's what the Aquarius Star card can talk about. Are you kind of more stubborn and you have this idea of like the dream life, and it's kind of, well, it should be like this and act like this, and it's great for all of us to have our idea of the dream life, but did we imagine that alone? Or did we imagine it working with other people? Well, if we work with other people, they have their idea of the dream life. and it's kind of working together cooperatively, compromising, trying to see things from other people's perspective. What was your idea of the dream life? How did you expect to move forward? The Eight of Cups can talk about being more independent, learning how to love yourself so you get out of just to go live your more authentic life. And some people don't even want to be more independent. Well, what? Become more independent of the world? Well, no. My whole life is about the world. That's how I view the world. It's all about I'm supposed to look like a shining star in the world, or it's supposed to be all about me, or it's supposed to be all about these things that we're supposed to make our life about. And some people are very codependent on the world, and they could really define their worth and value based on how, at least in their mind, they think other people view them or perceive them. Other people aren't so caught up in the illusion of the world. The world's going to think what the world's going to think. So I'm just going to go live my authentic life. And I'm going to go out in the world and treat other people the way I like to be treated. I'm going to be authentic and just and fair and loving and encouraging. And the world can judge away. And for some people, that's just like, you can't do that. you know? And some people that were a little more codependent, caught up in the world or something, have this fixed way of living life and viewing life. Some of the people have already moved on from them. Because some of the other people in their life, which some of the other people in their life now, life's about learning lessons. It's about, life doesn't stay the same. And not everybody views life the way we view it. And if we're going to work together with other people, it's trying to maybe keep things in perspective. If I only just want it my way or the highway, well, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to want to work with me. How about I try to see things from their perspective, and that everybody has their own dreams and aspirations. And, do we all have to, some people we're not more on the same page with, and we need to see the truth of that. What they can like to invest their time, energy, and effort into that they find emotionally fulfilling. It's like, I don't really, that's not my thing. And I don't really, whatever those things might be. And, if someone wants to make their life just more about all the things they want to go do, and they never want to go do things that anyone else wants to go do, well, probably fewer people want to hang out with them, right? And how about we do some of the things that you want to do, and then we do some of the things that I want to do. And the world can talk about, though, that some people aren't willing to learn lessons in life. And the Magician card is Gemini and Virgo energy. And in high vibe, it's about being willing to learn lessons in life. And some people are just kind of prideful and egotistical and self-indulgent. And if people don't indulge them in their maybe ego ways or stubborn ways or thinking it should be more about them, they don't want to see the truth. Shadowy energy can be that people do not want to see the truth of something that manipulates them. If that's their pride and their ego, if it has to be more about them, if it's more that these things of the world that they want to make their life about, that they think will make them happy, and some people just feel like you don't appreciate love. It's like, no, it's got to be more about me, or no, it's got to be more about these things that I indulge in, or no, it's got to be more about the status or the ego or the image. And other people are like, what about love? And they're like, you know, maybe some people, the truth is that some people in their free will, they disconnected. The world can be, you put an end to. people maybe at one time used to have a little more hope and faith and belief in themselves and belief in their dreams and belief in love, and then they could have went through their own life experiences and they decided, nope, that's it, I'm done. From now on, I just create the illusion of love. I'm not really going to do love anymore, and it's going to be maybe more about me. That would be an immature page of wands. And it's more about me being indulged or me indulging myself in the world. Maybe let go of some dreams, because I am sure if I make it more about indulging me and myself in these things of the world, I'll be happy. And of course, then they can try to find other people who kind of buy into that way of viewing life. And if they find people who agree with them, hey, you're on the same page. It's a just and fair relationship. What's unjust and unfair is when someone knows the truth, but they don't tell people the truth. Yeah, no. I'm just going to create an illusion that my truth is your truth so that you'll get in a relationship with me. And then I'm hoping as you move forward in the relationship with me that even if at some future point in time you realize that, yeah, I'm not becoming more independent or walking away from this way of viewing life that I view it, to have, the 8 and the 9 and the 10 of cups and Pisces energy, emotional water sign energy, of having more hope and faith and belief and love. No, I'll be in a relationship with you and kind of indulge myself in it until you kind of are ready to maybe have hope and faith and belief in yourself and believe in your dreams, and you want me to move forward in that way. And that's when it's like, no, I'm staying here. I'm not doing that. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I don't know how to offer myself a cup of love, to work through my fears or my insecurities or anything, to move forward in life differently. I I want to keep doing this. There's things in the world that manipulate me that I love, and one of them can be I love indulging my more immature nature. So I'm not going to do life differently, or the world manipulates me, and the world tells me I should make my life about these things of the world, and it emotionally manipulates me and makes me feel like that is living the dream. And it's not really about, you know, our shadow nature is kind of represented by the devil, our more immature, prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, defensive, lazy, self centered, egotistical, want reward without effort, want to be indulged, want to be immature. High vibe energy and the big picture is represented by God. We have the free will to grow up and mature ourselves, work through our more immature nature, quit letting the world manipulate us, and love and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams and offer ourselves that cup of love, to quit letting our more worldly, egoic, fearful, prideful, egotistical, self-centered, being manipulated by the world, to go live being free, to let more love and intuition guide us then, and listen to our intuition, where otherwise we can kind of let fear and insecurity and codependency, and with a page out, that can mean that some people are more codependent. So when you think about the different people in your life, um, and just like you can have some people that you think are kind of immature or shadowy or stubborn or bossy or full of themselves, those people in turn could know people in their life that they view that way too, right? But so in your own life, who are the people who you think don't really have a way of viewing life that, where it's more about them, more about the ego, the image, who you feel have a lot of things within them and people outside of them and stuff? that manipulate them who really aren't very independent. And some of those people can be middle aged and they're still really codependent on the world. That's what defines their worth and value because they haven't learned to define their own worth and value. Like I have to go do all these things and I have to act like this and do this and hang out with these people and not those people because what would people say? It's like, I don't know. How about the people who want to go do those things, do those things? And if you don't want to do them, you don't go do them and you go do what you really enjoy. Oh, but what would people say? I need people to view me a certain way. And it's like, well, then go live shadowy Pisces of like the Knight of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the Hangman. Just so caught up in the illusion, not seeing through the illusion, not seeing how all these things can manipulate you. And and then some people are more codependent. They have other people in their life, whether they're friends or family members or the world at large, that knows they're not very independent and knows they're maybe more codependent, where they can kind of use the love that they have for them to keep manipulating them. Oh no, don't go do that. No, don't hang out with those people. No, don't go do those things in your life. No, don't listen to your intuition. No, don't believe in yourself. Don't believe in your dreams because those people don't. And then they don't want you to either. If you were to go live your more authentic life and not let all these things manipulate you, or other people are like that, other people could be stressed out because the nines talk about you're getting close to closing out a cycle. Learning the lessons you're meant to learn from that phase of life, to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and I'm going to move forward in life facing my fears, to believe in myself and offer myself that cup of love, to quit letting these things manipulate me. But other people in our life who might let those things manipulate them, so they're living their life like that, well, then they'd be stressed out. And then they'd really have to think about their life and how they're living it. Well, gee, look at them. They went and had hope and faith and belief in themselves. They're not making their life about indulging in these things or being more immature or prideful or egotistical or superficial or shallow. Oh my God, they've been enlightened to the truth. They're more bold and brave and confident. Shit, why do I keep living my life like this? Why don't I do that? But because, when other people in our life can see that we're kind of working through some issues that at one time had us stuck, we could have even been in relationships with people that we really wanted a dream to come into reality with. Some people in our life that it's like, and maybe they weren't. We wanted people to be more loving and nurturing and just and fair, and maybe it wasn't. And then it can kind of keep us stuck in our ego. And, well, gee, why would I think anybody else would love me if those people didn't really love me? And they were maybe the people in my life who were supposed to love me, my friends and family or something. And it can stop us. And we could have also had people in our life that we could have had some dreams and aspirations, and some of the people in our life kind of gave up some of their dreams and aspirations, and they were like, nope, this is how you should live your life, and this is what I did, and this is what's will make you happy. Don't go pursue your dreams. We didn't, and look, we seem to be okay. And then we kind of give up on our dreams, and we kind of can make our life more about following the crowd, looking to other people in the world to love us and validate our worth and value, and never work through, when did I quit believing in myself and believing in my dreams? And am I willing to work through those things that might have hurt me and offer love to myself, to not let the fact that some people in my life who I wanted a dream to come into reality with, but it didn't, How long am I going to let that manipulate me? When am I going to free myself from it? Work through it. The Magician is, again, Gemini and Virgo energy. I am going to focus on the truth of the situation. The truth is, I'm a fallible human being and I'm dealing with other fallible human beings. And everybody's got their immature nature, their fearful nature, their self-indulgent nature, their stubborn nature, being full of themselves, get caught up in the world. And everybody has this free will choice to put in the work and effort to work through those issues to free themselves from it. And other people in my life didn't. Am I going to keep repeating that pattern? Or am I going to keep staying stuck and in my ego and in my fear and keep letting those things manipulate me like it kind of manipulated them, so they weren't maybe very just and fair and authentic and encouraging and hopeful, believing within themselves to do love and get independent of their past pain and heartbreak and their more immature or defensive or self-centered nature? Am I going to be another person who repeats that pattern, or am I going to break that generational pattern? There's things I didn't like about it, so I wish those people would have changed. Well, the only person I can change is me. So I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to wish everybody peace and love. I understand. I know how hard it is. I've been living my own life now. I know how hard it is to kind of maintain balance within myself and not get caught up in these things, and have gotten caught up in some things. I'm going to offer me love and compassion and forgiveness. I'm going to offer it to everybody else, and then I'm going to move on. And there's some people in the world who did do that, and there's some people in the world who are doing that, and there's some people who are hiding in the world that they feel stuck. But by worldly standards, it looks victorious and successful, and because that's really important to them, or because they're more codependent, and they haven't learned to love themselves, and they have fear and haven't worked through the fear of becoming independent, of things they might be involved in that make them feel stuck, they might keep moving forward in it. And they're going to watch other people who free themselves from those things, who move on. And, we're all on our own journey. Everybody's got to make those decisions. They got to take a lot of things into consideration. And when we're ready, we're ready. And sometimes we got to wait for life circumstances. Some people could even just be in a job that they don't like. But just like, our career, it's like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have gotten into this career, because it seemed I maybe didn't listen to my intuition. It wasn't really what I wanted to go do, but I thought if I went and did what I really wanted to go do, I maybe wouldn't have the money or the stability or whatever. And so I got in a career field that I hate being in every day. But just like people can feel that way in a career field, people kind of feel that way because they kept staying in a friendship group or an organization or a relationship, and they maybe didn't listen to their more hopeful, believing, loving nature, and should have gotten it out of it a long time ago. And the longer we don't do it, the longer, and we've all been more codependent. We've all been less about believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams. And we go through these life experiences, and as we kind of go through more of them, we might get a little better at, and going through those experiences could kind of be the catalyst to kind of force us that, oh my gosh, I can't keep doing this. And it is kind of the catalyst to force us to love and believe in ourselves. I cannot stay stuck. I don't care how great it looks by worldly standards. This is not my truth. I do not find this emotionally fulfilling. And though I am stressed out about being more independent and believing in myself and believing in my dreams, I can't stay maybe in relationships with people who are unwilling to admit that maybe they could benefit from getting out of their ego to maybe be willing to admit that they maybe have some lessons to learn in life, and that maybe they do kind of indulge their more immature nature. And because they think that's just and fair, they think other people should indulge them in their more immature ways of being. Because that's their truth and that's the stage of life that they're at. And it's like, oh my gosh. Or people who just like to create the illusion of love, but it's not really love. And it's, again, like the illusion of love. I want to be in a relationship with people who have really worked through kind of their fears and insecurities to be more authentically loving. Because otherwise, if I'm being authentic and loving and letting my more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play, but the other person, I'm in a relationship with like their ego and their more authentic nature just looks through the eyeball, out their eyeballs, but they never get to come out to play. I'm kind of in a relationship with their cardboard cutout person. And I find it unfulfilling. There can be a lot of things I do like about it, and I could have love for the person. I just can't stay in a relationship with someone who isn't independent of their more egoic, self protective, self defensive nature. So, and you might come to realize that some people, like to live more from their mind than their heart, which can be their self protective, self defensive nature. And it's like, well, I wish you peace. You do that if that's what makes you feel safe and secure, and that's your comfort zone. You can't push people out in the world to be more at a different stage of life than they're at. But I can't stay here. And so you face your fears and you look to the future and you detach from those things or ways of living life or viewing life or people focused on the future. And then we start out with probably having to deal with this card here and really having to work through how you could have harnessed that energy in a more worldly, shadowy way, because you don't want to repeat this pattern or this way of living life or viewing yourself or viewing the world or something that affected, why you got and stayed in certain friendships or relationships. And you had to really do the work to detach from that within yourself and then detach from the people in your life who are in that energy that you feel is kind of shadowy, and then start to work through harnessing it in a high vibe way. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Well, the queens in tarot can talk about how we think and feel. The masculine energies in tarot can talk about kind of how we're presenting ourselves in the world and action that we're taking. But we can all present ourselves in the world any way we want. How do we really think and feel? And the Queen of Pentacles can be just that we hadn't learned to really invest in ourselves. You could be a very loving and encouraging person to other people, but not really, like being your own best mother, father, coach, voice to yourself. And maybe not really investing either in your unique talent, skills, and interests. And, we've kind of got to go on this journey in life to even find out what some of those things are that interest us, that we really like. I know a big thing with me, who does like landscaping? Well, I suppose some people would, maybe if their parents did that around their house or family, but I wasn't really around it. And it wasn't until later in my own life that it's like, wow, I could see where somebody, it's nice to be outside and it's nice to create something that is like, wow, who would have ever thought that I'd really think I'd maybe like to be a landscaper? I could see where if I had been younger, how I could have really enjoyed, because by the time I even realized I liked it, I was like 35. And, but if I had known that when I was younger, and there's just all these different things, but we don't even know it, and that's part of this journey of life, helping us get more clear about what our truth is, what our truth isn't, getting out of our more codependent energy, getting out of being more about ourselves, more about the world, and kind of growing and maturing ourselves. And there might have been, again, the Queen of Pentacles, I view it as Taurus energy, can represent kind of all these different institutions of the world, like career fields or ways of viewing life, and um, philosophies of life that we have, which could be like religion and um, where I want to live. Like, oh no, what? One time people could have been like, oh no, I always want to live here. And then they maybe have a little more experience in life. Then it's like, oh wow, I would be willing to move to other areas. And then some people don't have a lot of diversity in their life and in their communities. And then they go out in the world and, really human beings are human beings, and, they're living life just like we are. So it's not a big deal. And religion and all that stuff, right? But the King and Queen of Pentacles are also the only marrieds through the deck. And there could have been someone that, either a mother figure, but it doesn't have to be a mother figure, but it could be anybody that at one time you had viewed as an emotionally nurturing person in your life, male or female. And maybe some of those people you did think you wanted to invest more time, energy, and effort into, that uh, you wanted to marry or something, or it can, again, a job that you wanted. But as time goes by and say it doesn't work out and you're continuing to do this work to love and believe in yourself and work through the emotional confusion of it, kind of eventually we can let go of thinking that dream can come into reality with that person. If we keep moving forward, having more hope and faith and belief in love and in our dreams, and the other person's like, bye, you know, oh, I have other people I can get in a relationship with and I'll just stay here. And, it's like, okay. Well, so then we have the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the Four of Swords. Initially people could take some time in the Four of Pentacles that I'm going to take some time not to really give of myself to other people, except kind of what I have to, friends, family, work, because I want to take this time just to get more balance within myself, to kind of recover from something that didn't work out the way I wanted. I don't want to take action more out of, our shadow nature. The devil can be short term gratification. And so I could go do that, but I have a dream. And if I kind of plant bad seeds, I'm going to reap a bad harvest. So I'm not going to invest in also my more worldly nature. And I'm going to take this time to just get balance within myself and maybe invest in myself. I view the Six of Wands and Leo energy as kind of being loving and encouraging of yourself and giving yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you, and kind of getting back up on your feet again, and working through the inner conflict. And the Six of Wands moves away from the Five of Wands. So these cards here also, with some people in your life, can represent the Five of Wands. There can be those people that you walked away from. There can be other people in your life that would like to hold on to you, exchange resources with you, have a new beginning with you. But you could view them as people in the Five of Wands who are kind of more aligned with the competition. That They're maybe not as shadowy or as immature or as prideful or as stubborn, but I still am more motivated and inspired to. The Queen of Cups in high vibe is high vibe Scorpio. Down here, people walked away from maybe a more shadowy Scorpio, and Scorpio's emotional water sign energy. But in shadow, it can be more about the world, more about just all these other things that's a little more superficial and shallow. High vibe Scorpio would be a more deep, meaningful relationship. And with other people who are more balanced, who don't want to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship, could they be loving, encouraging people, but they still might be a little more, maybe where it's a more, the Six of Pentacles can talk about maybe a little more transactional relationship and kind of wanting to be in the relationship, still a little bit more about the ego and the image, not as much so as some other people, but just feeling like it's a little bit more that maybe what they have to offer is more those things of the world, and that can kind of be what they use a little bit more to try to get people to be in a relationship. And part of those things of the world that we have to offer people is sex. And it's like, I want to be in a relationship with someone who's more inspired by love and someone who's more balanced in the Two of Pentacles within themselves and has really kind of invested in knowing how to love themselves and maintain balance within themselves, and who believes in their dreams and who's healed, because that's my aspiration, and I'm going to do that work within myself to love myself, get more balance within myself, take accountability for maintaining balance within myself. Because kind of a more codependent relationship can be where people are looking to get in a relationship with someone for them to be the answer to their problems. Just like some people could invest in indulging in things of the world to make them feel better. And some people, they invest in relationships to make them feel better, but they never do that work within themselves. So they always kind of like, well, you're loving and encouraging and supportive, and I might not have shadowy traits like some other people, but I'm still really haven't learned to love myself. So kind of like, how about you be the loving and encouraging person, and I don't still really more open up, but I might not be have some of the issues that some other people had. And it's like, I want to be in relationships with people who have done this work within themselves and, investing in the people in my life who seem to be moving forward, inspired to move forward, not keep repeating an old pattern. Because, you can get out of one friendship, relationship, or job, and then there could be other opportunities that are better, but it kind of still almost seems like, let's come back here and do, this. And it's like, well, I have a dream. And if it's another person who is kind of like, I want you to stay back here kind of with me and keep not loving and believing in yourself and kind of growing to your full potential. Let's do this. This looks victorious and successful. And it's like, how about being with people who, are open to possibilities? And that's like really high vibe energy of just going with the flow. Who knows what'll happen? Let's just go with the flow, listen to our intuition, love and intuition to guide us, and open to all the possibilities, and it doesn't have to be this way or that way, and we don't have to be here or be there. I mean, we might be in one location right now, but who knows what the future will bring. And some people, are a little more, for some reason in their life, maybe other people in their life too, that feel like they have more obligations or something to have to stay maybe even in a certain area. Um, and I think the high vibe people are doing this work within themselves to heal. And all of this work to close out this old cycle, to see the truth of it, with all these different people I've met in my life, and I've known people that are this way and that way, and value this and value that, who seems to be really more inspired by love, not more the greed, the ego, the image, or the superficial or the shallow, and know how to do equal give and take, or inspired to do equal give and take, know what it means to be more just or fair in a relationship, and who in my life doesn't. And then when we've kind of worked through all that from the Four of Swords to the Five of Swords, we kind of let go. The Five of Swords also is Aquarius energy. We kind of let go of an old dream. And part of it is kind of realizing my dream can only come into reality with people who are more on the same page as me, and their truth and what they kind of think is just and fair. And, we have to have some things that connect us other than just the superficial and the shallow to maybe have a more long-term emotionally fulfilling relationship. And if I was dealing with some people who are more codependent or more immature or don't like to open up or like a more transactional relationship or think it's just unfair to try to manipulate people or be prideful or be egotistical or be stubborn, I know I don't like that. So, I'm going to go out in the world and take these lessons that I've learned to go believe there's other people that have dealt with people like that in the world and don't like it either. And instead of investing my time, energy, and effort into the people who I already know are kind of like that, I'm going to go have some hope and faith and belief in my dreams to go out and just live my life, enjoy my life, believe the divine has a plan for my life, because I think life is about learning these lessons. And when we learn those lessons, then we get to move forward in life a little differently. And then kind of the next lesson kind of comes into our life of how we can be manipulated by our fear and our insecurity and our immature nature and our lustful, greedy, stubborn nature, and we'll meet other people to get in relationship with. And then we have the free will to, all those people that we come in contact with aren't people we're going to want to keep moving forward with either. And some of those people will let them move forward. And it's like, no, you know, as you're moving forward in life, you can have the best of intentions, but then it's like, I think, again, I don't know that our dreams and aspirations are the same. What we think is just and fair is the same. And with some of those people, then I might let some of those people go, and I'll take this time to invest in myself and love myself, and then go back out there in the world to see, just like you go get different jobs periodically, you know. Sometimes some people come into our life for a period of time. We can be nurturing and loving and encouraging and supportive of each other, because we're kind of in a certain energy when we meet people. And so we're kind of on the same page. And we can help each other during those times. But then maybe when it gets to be where we're kind of ready to move forward and everybody's kind of helped each other work through whatever stage of life we were on, then that's when sometimes people want to move forward a little differently, and it can be hard. But we high vibe people accept the truth of it, and they keep moving forward. And some other people, it can really keep them stuck because they could think, well, now my dream can't come into reality. It's like, no, your dream can come into reality. There's other people. It's just like when we were young and say your best friend moved away. Well, you is it the same relationship? No, but you meet other people who you maybe can get in friendships with, just like finding someone you like and that you want to date or be in a more involved relationship. They're not a dime a dozen, unless you are more emotionally shallow and superficial, you know, and when you do have them, hopefully we learn during our life to really appreciate those people when we meet those people that we do feel are more on the same page as us, do work together with us cooperatively, are more just and fair and loving and encouraging. But when we were young, we could have kind of let some of those friendships and relationships go because we maybe did think, I'll just go find someone else. And hopefully as you learn lessons, it's not as easy as some people might think it could be. But high vibe people aren't going to stay stuck in something. If I felt that was unjust and unfair, I'd rather go live my authentic life. I can work on my career field. I can go enjoy my life. I can enjoy my friends and family. And I'm just going to go live my life. And some people are already moving forward in some things that look victorious and successful, whether that's jobs, whether it's relationships or repairing relationships. And, they're moving forward, continuing to believe in their dreams. And as you move forward, I think you'll meet other people who've moved on ahead in life, that were on the same path as you, but maybe you didn't even know them. And you'll meet other people who are more on the same page as you. So, what's coming up for people who are in some high vibe Aries energy that they might not see coming? The Fool card, the Star card, and the Seven of Wands. Why? Because of the shadow. So the shadow is like the devil. So, because there was something in your life that you felt was kind of shadowy, but it could have been hard because the devil can also talk about that we're attracted to people. But you could have been attracted to someone. The devil can talk about these things that we wanted to manifest in the world, and we had these dreams and these aspirations, and we want to be in jobs, friendships, and relationships. But because you listen to your intuition, when your intuition tells you that people are not, in some way, the devil card typically looks just like the lover's card, except that people have chains and shackles on them. So it's kind of limiting or oppressive or confining or imprisoning or manipulative or something where you maybe felt like you couldn't be more independent. And there can be love there, but there's something about it that you found a little unhealthy. And because you were willing to face your fears, is what the devil can talk about, you get to have this new journey because that was part of the lesson. When I see that things are not just, not fair, when people are being immature, when people are being stubborn, when people are being prideful, when people want to be indulged, when people want it to be more about them, when I think people are using my loving nature to manipulate me, that's not just and fair. And that is part of the lesson. And you listen to your intuition, you work through your fears, you loved and believed in yourself, you move forward. Because of that, you kind of healed from people who you could have had love for and some people who had love for you, but it was just, it was unhealthy in some way. It was unjust in some way. And because of that, in the Fool card, you get to go on this new journey. And I think, you're one step closer to having your dreams come into reality. And I think this is saying, because you're willing to take that leap of faith and believe in your dreams, again, your dream can't come into reality with people who aren't working together with you in this high vibe energy. And in the Seven of Wands, you will have a victory worth defending because you are willing to stand up to the devil. Things and people in your life that kind of tempt you to stay in your more immature, fearful, codependent, lustful, greedy, prideful, more materialistically motivated, that taking a priority in your life over love. And you let go of an old dream and you're moving forward in a new dream. And the thing is, sometimes if we're already in those relationships, sometimes we can meet people that maybe was someone who at one time we had a dream we wanted to come into reality with them, but it ended. And then we listened to our intuition, loved ourselves. That relationship didn't work out. We move forward with other people. If those people are those people and that is our truth, then, you know, the truth is that there are, with free will, there will be missed opportunities. Can there be people we can be drawn and attracted to? Yeah, but if we indulge our more immature nature, it's trying to discern who are the people in my life that I should keep moving forward with, who are the people I shouldn't. Who do I think is being truthful and honest and authentic? Who do I think has healed and grown and matured themselves? Who do I think are the people that I could align with or align with me more out of codependency, more out of fear, more out of ego, more out of image? And who are the people moving forward with me in that energy? Is that really what I want to manifest? Or, the devil can be too, where being in relationship with people who challenge us to face our fears. We could move forward in relationships with people that we're indulging them or they're indulging us, but it's not challenging us to heal and kind of close out cycles in our life and kind of grow to our full potential. Who are the people who kind of challenge us to do that, and who are the people in our life who don't want us to do that? And, you know, life's about learning lessons. So I think high vibe people are willing to listen to their intuition about who they should and shouldn't invest more of their time, energy, and effort into, and facing their fears, listening to intuition, not lust, not greed, not pride, not ego, not status, not image. And I think they're going to move forward very successfully. And the people who were more shadowy, they're going to have to go find someone else to go be in a relationship with, because you're not willing to indulge the shadowy people anymore. It's kind of interesting the way I kind of view the devil now. If a person is more about the world or themselves, people who have more hope and faith and belief and love, you would be like the devil because you challenge their belief system. And if you have more hope and faith and belief and love, people in the world who are more prideful or immature, stubborn, prideful, bossy, controlling, whatever, you'd kind of view them as the devil because they have a different philosophy of life than you at a core foundational level. And some people who have had fear of becoming more independent, of their maybe more defensive nature, are facing their fears to move forward with people who do challenge them to face their fears to, sometimes that's why too sometimes loving people will indulge shadowy people, because then it's like always being loving and encouraging of them to make them keep moving forward. Like, you need to change. I don't need to change. I'm the loving and encouraging person in this relationship. But if we get in a relationship with someone else who's loving and encouraging, well, then, it's going to bring up things within us to heal. And so that's where kind of getting in relationships with people who don't really challenge you is kind of you kind of indulging yourself in your ego in a way. What's coming up for some people who might harness a little more worldly, shadowy Aries energy that they might not see coming? The Two of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. So, well, because the shadowy people might be kind of juggling the truth, which can just be, again, a lot of Pisces energy on the table, and that can be about people who try to create the illusion they're more motivated and inspired to grow and heal and mature themselves and are authentically inspired by love when they're really not. They're kind of juggling the truth, kind of being two-faced. But they keep repeating an old pattern, and they still haven't maybe decided in shadowy Scorpio or high vibe Scorpio, am I more about these things of the world or me and my defensive nature and kind of keeping my more authentic nature buried beneath the surface? Or am I willing to do a more deep, meaningful relationship? And because some of those people keep juggling, there's going to be some people in their life that have been trying to work with them, and how long, you know, eventually some people move on because it's like, either you have hope and faith and belief in love and have some trust in yourself and in other people, or you don't. And some of those people are going to move on. They're going to, in that way, the Two of Pentacles, again, can talk about people picking up their investment in them. I have done some work within myself to love and believe in myself, and I do have hope and faith and belief in my dreams, and I've been offering you love and encouragement for you to move forward with me in that way. But from the Six of Cups to the Two of Cups, and the Two of Cups can kind of be emotionally what we align with within ourselves. They'd have to quit aligning with emotionally investing in being more about them or their worldly nature or their fear or their defensiveness. And the other people kind of pick their path and they're ready to move forward. And if they're not, they're going to have some people move on in their life. And because they're still going back and forth, there's going to be other people in the world that are going to want to be in a relationship with them. Just like other people want to be in a relationship with other people, and they might be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll move forward with you in a relationship. I'm still juggling the truth. I'm still stuck about what my dreams are. My worldly nature keeps manipulating my more loving, hopeful, believing nature. And so far, my more worldly nature, immature nature, defensive nature, wanting to stay in my comfort zone, keeps winning the battle. So that's how they keep moving forward. We have our dualistic nature in our Gemini energy about picking a path. I am more motivated and inspired to build a foundation in my life from truth and love. It is about having a balance, that all four elements, my heart, my mind, my creative nature, my worldly nature, my passionate nature, they're equally important. And I've learned those lessons in life. And though I can have love for people, I'm not going to let love for people, if they're out of balance and they want me to equally stay out of balance or indulge them in poor behavior, I'm not going to do that. Love is to be just and fair. And maybe they got to go on their own journey to learn some lessons in life. But I know my truth, and my truth is love is to be just and fair. And if that's not your truth, you hold back from that philosophy of life, but yet you want to move forward with me? No. If that's not your truth, I wish you peace, but I'm going to pick up my investment in you. And I'm going to go find people who don't keep indulging their more immature, shadowy nature of thinking it should kind of be more about them or these things of the world. If you do, go enjoy your life with someone else. I'm going to enjoy my life just fine. I'm sure the divine has a plan for my life because the divine wants me to manifest my dreams into reality. So I think if I keep walking the talk and, if nothing else, I'll enjoy my life and I won't be in relationships with people who are immature or bossy or manipulative or stubborn or egotistical. I won't have to be indulging them. I can just go enjoy my life. And I keep seeing who I'm going to thank you for showing me your truth. And I'm going to keep moving on and close out a cycle with you. And I think, other people could see the truth that, shit, those people are going to close out a cycle. Damn. If I don't kind of get out and work through this and get out of my ego and do this work within myself, I'm going to lose an opportunity with that person. And either that's what they're willing to do or they're not. And I think if people come towards you, you will get to know them and communicate with them. If they're people from your past or people in your present or people in your future, and you'll get to know them, to see what the truth is and what drives them, motivates them. And if they seem like their truth is your truth, then those are people you'll go on a new journey with. And some people are going to see you go do that. And some of those will be going back and forth. Gee, maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't. And it's like, yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And other people are doing. So, there you go, Aries. I wish you peace, love, and joy. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.